Let's go ahead and show the app briefly. And Edwin, if there are some important points that Anatoly is making as he shows the app, please feel free to chime in. You know this app better than anybody here. So, Anatoly, go ahead and get started, and we'll just chime in as needed.
Thanks a lot, Alex. So the application is really simple. We try to create an application that will be easy to use for everybody. So the application that you can see right up here is basically like a book. It has different tabs. So at the bottom of the screen, you can see the tab name. For example, right now I'm located on the Home tab. And just by clicking on the buttons on the bottom of the screen, I can navigate across different screens and different pages. So we have Admin tab, we have Dispatch tab, we have Truck Inspection, Trailer Inspection, and we have a Home tab. Each of these tabs has got at least 3 buttons. It's a new form, save forms, and report list. So let me explain you what every of these buttons stand for. The new form allows you to create a brand new inspection. The BOL number will be automatically generated according to the specific format. You can also specify the driver's name, or it can be captured automatically. The date will be auto-stamped, but you can change it as well, just by using a little drop-down if you would like to create a form for a different date. You can specify the truck number, the trailer number, number of axles, shipper, billing, consignee. You can also specify if there was a fuel surcharge, the total driver hours, and you can pick if a pilot car was used, yes or no, and if a permit is required. You can also specify fuel details, start time, end time, loading and unloading time, mileage, permit cost, and pilot car cost. Just by swiping left and right, you can navigate across pages. So
How about question, Edwin? Is that who fills this out in your company? Is it a truck driver, or is it someone in person that's creating this?
Well, when I dispatch the truck, well, now we're just getting that dispatch form up and running, which is going to be a very handy tool. But everybody's got their specific ID numbers according to the driver. So like in my instance, I got the first digits. It says 22, like 13 or 2214. And the way I designed that 22 is the year that we're working with. And then the other 2 digits identify the driver. Like say 2215, 15 identifies my driver as Clint Conley. Okay. And then the other back digits, that's going to represent my my bill lading number. So you combine that all together, I know what year it is, I know what driver it is, and I know what the bill lading number will be. It's all combined into one number. So when I receive that bill lading, once the driver is done with it, they fill it out themselves, right? So I send them to a job. Okay, I'm sending Clint, for instance, out to do a job. He gets in his truck, opens up the Snappii app, clicks on new form, boom, a form comes up for him to manually fill out. Okay, he puts his name there, the truck number, the trailer number, and then he puts his starting mileage, puts the customer who we're working for, all on that app before he even leaves the yard. Okay, so he puts all that information in, and he goes to a facility or wherever we're loading, and then he gets loaded up, and he goes back to his form, and he actually inputs what he's hauling in the description part of that. He identifies what he's hauling in the description part, like one D10 dozer, or if he's got a bunch of miscellaneous items, he put parts, several parts, description, pipe, or whatever the case may be in the description item, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then he saves it, and he goes about completing the job. When the job is complete, he fills out the final paperwork. It gets the customer to sign on the sign form on the second page. He's done the job, unloaded, presents his back page for customer signature for proof of delivery, because that's
Okay.
a big thing in our industry, is a proof of delivery, right?
Yep.
So the customer signs it. He's got the machine. Nothing else required. He goes back and finishes up his mileage. So he's got the starting mileage, and then he puts in the ending mileage. Hits the save button, and whatever else he feels is pertinent that I would know when I open that up, right?
Okay.
And then he hits the job is completed. He puts how many total hours he had on the job from this time to that time, or even if it's a 2-3 day job, he has to put the total hours on that paper. Okay, like if he had 30
Mm-hmm.
hours into the job, he puts 30
Mm-hmm.
hours total. Hits the submit button, and boom, just like magic, I get it instantly. As soon as he's done that job, I get the paperwork for the bill lading. Everything is there to me within seconds. Okay.
Yep.
And when I get it, I get it 2 ways, right? I get it in an email to the corporate office, and if I'm working that way, or else I could pick it up through the BlueStacks, and I could edit different things when it comes through BlueStacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I get that in my email, I open it up, and I have it, right? So I'm looking at one right now. You guys can't see what I'm looking at, but for instance, I just had one email to me, so I opened it up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the invoice, the bill lading number says 2215-007. So I know who the driver, I know what year it happened, who the driver was, and the other 3 digits will identify that as the bill lading. So in this one, just the description, what his driver's name was Clint. He's got the truck number, the trailer number, how many axles on the unit, and he's got the shipper, and then also he's got the total driver hours is 16 hours. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom, he's got a description. He picked up the point of origin. That's just the way I do, right? Wherever we pick up the load is the point of origin, and where we drop it is the point of destination. That's all I'm concerned about, right? Okay. Description, he picked up a scraper in Elko, took it to Yerington, reloaded a Arctic truck, and dropped it at Core Rochester, a different mine. Okay. And at the bottom, he's got a proof of delivery signed by the customer, the name and everything else, and the date. Okay. So I got everything in that one item. I got the mileage there, how many miles he put on the job. And what I do, if we have excessive loading and unloading time, they could put some numbers in there for me, like 3 hours for loading or whatever. Then I just know what the total of 16 hours, but he had 3 hours of loading or unloading. He just gave me that just as a time frame that I could compute the time frame he spent on the job. And I look at this and says, well, that shouldn't have took him 16 hours, right, for the total job. But then I look at the loading or unloading time, and he put 3.5 hours waiting for customer, whatever the case may be, whatever notes that are relevant to substantiate the time frame he had in the job. Okay. I look at everything, like all that information, what he sent to me, and then from this point, I take this to the next level, right? So I download this form and I put information of it, the customer, and who we hauled for and everything else, and that bill of lading number. And now this bill of lading number becomes my invoice number. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So I process this, and the one pager says billing for office use only. Okay. So I type in there what I want my bookkeeper or the office personnel here to do the final billing. I do not do the final billing, right?
Mm-hmm.
She does. Okay. So I type in there X hours. Like in this case, this will be like in real time what I'm going to do here. So I'm looking at the hours, total driver hours, 16 hours on this particular one. And so I go in the bill of lading part there, and I put numbers in there for my bookkeeper, secretary, or in this case, Carly is my main person here in the office, and she does the billing process.
Okay.
So I just type in there 16 hours at X hours per hour. Fuel surcharge, say in this case he had about 1,000 miles. I put this fuel surcharge and put the numbers in there. Fuel surcharge at 1,000 miles at whatever the relevant cost is per gallon. Okay. And then permit costs. If I got permit costs in there, I put the permit costs in there, and say maybe we had to get a permit for Nevada. And say that permit was $400. I've typed that in there. Permit cost $400. That's just an example. Okay. And then if you had pilot cars, pilot cars, say maybe the pilot cars cost me $500 on a particular load. Then I would put pilot car $500. And I, in order for this to work really well, and it does work really well for what we do. Okay, excellent. So then I put all the numbers in, and I save it in a file. In my case, I save it right into an Adobe Cloud. Okay.
Okay.
Because people do whatever they want, but that seems to work the best for me. So I save that, fill that document in Adobe Cloud. Okay. And then when I open that Adobe up, I see what I sent, and then we share it, right? So with that said, we share it, and then I send her, she just right next to me, but I could easily tell, I say, hey, Carly, there's a bunch of billing to do. Or I send her a copy of the second page, okay, which is the proof of delivery. So I cut that page out the way I got this one designed. I could organize my pages, right? And I cut that page out. I extract it out of the Adobe, all right? And then I send that to her via email. So there's no printing or nothing. I send it to her desk.
Right, electronically, right? Yep.
Electronically, yeah. There's no paper involved, right? And then when she gets those in the email, she opens up her email and she sees all this for billing. We got a folder for billing, right? So she opens that up. She has the proof of delivery paper with that particular number. And then from that, she constructs her invoice according to what I input on the first page, okay, where it says billing and stuff like that. And and that's what she opens this page up because it's already in the Adobe Cloud, right? So she opens up that number. Okay, in this case, we're working with 2215-007. So she opens that up, and then she's reading that on one screen, and her other screen, she's in our billing program, and she does the billing. Okay, she looks at that, and she's billing the job to Highmark, and then she looks below there, billing for office only. She says, well, it's got 16, this example, 16 hours at $250 an hour. So she inputs all that, the fuel surcharge, the permit, the pilot car cost, and she inputs that as an invoice. Now that has become an invoice.
Right.
Sends it directly to the customer. She attaches the proof of delivery paper with the invoice via QuickBooks. We use QuickBooks here, okay? And she sends the attachment, the invoice, and the proof of delivery paper go directly to the customer, okay? And then poof, just like magic. 60 days later, we get paid sometimes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Edwin, what kinds of things can go wrong in the process? I mean, in the way that you used to do versus the way you do it now with the app. I mean, probably I would guess sometimes the drivers, are not very legible handwriting or miss some information, right?
Well, right. I mean, several years ago, we used to do everything old style, right? Every driver had a big bill lading book, okay?
Right, like a
And then
physical
with that
binder.
bill lading book,
Yeah.
say what?
Like a physical binder, right? That they would.
Yeah,
essentially
a
drag with
physical
them.
book.
Wow.
Okay, and they have to do all that via pencil, okay? And he felt it's kind of the same thing what we do now, but we do it electronically. So they have to go through the whole process, right, with paper and pencil. And the book we used to have like four copies, right? So you have different. If the customer wanted a copy, right, of the delivery, so he'll take the yellow sheet, and after the customer signed it, he'd get the yellow sheet, right?
Yeah.
And then one sheet have to be stapled together with their logbook, okay? Because for the DOT you got to have the bill lading, logbook dates and time and everything else. And one thing, we used to send those in to get audited, okay? And then one stayed in the book, and one was dropped off here at the office with the information for billing purposes, okay? It was a lengthy process. And where we ran into a lot of delays is when the driver left the yard here on a Monday, right? He's got all his paperwork, everything else, and stuff like that. And then he goes from one job to another, to another, to another. And that paperwork is trapped in the truck with the driver, okay? And so the process was, as soon as the jobs were done, the driver just kept stacking them up on his dash, right? stacking them up. And hey, next time you get back to the headquarters, drop off all your paperwork. So maybe 6 days later, okay, he's coming by. He's been on the road for 6 days doing different jobs, multiple jobs, and things like that, right?
Right.
Then he'd get back to the office 6 days later. And sometimes, if you were lucky, you got everything you needed, right?
Yeah.
To proceed with the billing process. But you have to be really lucky, right? Because what happens more times than not, the driver comes to the yard, parks his truck, jumps out of his truck, and heads home. He's not worried about dropping off no goddamn paperwork. He's getting home, right?
He just wants to get home.
Yeah, so and then you say, hey, where's your paperwork? Oh, I got it with me. Or it's in the truck. Well, where in the truck? It could be anywhere. He said, well, I'll drop it off. I'll hand it in when I get in. So he's scheduled for 2 days off or whatever, so he wait 2 days, right? So now with all the billing from day one to the 8th day, you're already 8 days behind from the first job, okay?
Wow, yeah.
And more times than not, what happens, he gets assigned another project. Boom, you come in the morning there, he's supposed to be there. No, he's gone. He's gone on his next job already. Call him up. Where's your paperwork? Oh, it's here on my dash. I says, well, why didn't you turn it in? He says, well, I forgot. I got to go. And so then he's gone for several days again, and you don't have the paperwork to get a handle on the billing process. So you were 8 days behind to begin with, and then he's gone again for another 4 or 5 days. right?
Yeah.
Comes back, turns his paperwork in. So, but now, instead of, he could have 15 different customers he worked for in the last, 13, 14 days. Could be like 15 different billing processes got to take place.
Wow.
Then I'll sit here in the office and try to sort it all out. What day did this happen? And a lot of times the drivers would forget to put the date in, forget to put the right customer name, and it was a catastrophic event taking place. So
Right.
you could easily be behind 30 days in your billing. Okay, and when you're working with a
Wow.
60-day cycle, now you're going to be waiting for your check for 90 days instead of 60 or 30. Or if you've got a 30-day cycle, then instead of waiting 30 days, you're waiting 60 days before you could actually receive any funds.
Mm. And I would imagine he gets all confused because, after so many jobs, if you ask him for particular details, he probably doesn't remember, right?
He does not remember what happens, and it's hard to catch up. Like when I was doing the billing in the office, so like when you got 14 drivers, some of them would be pretty constant with dropping the paperwork off. However, so you got stacks of invoices to process from the one driver. Say, like example, there's 15 that because you just got them, right? But then if you get 2, 3 drivers doing that and stuff like that, then everything gets behind. And then instead of me spending, an hour or two every day doing the invoices, you were spending days to catch up on what was been done. Because now instead of dealing with, I think on average we get 10 or 15 invoices in every day as a rule of thumb, right? So if you're 10 days behind, you got 100 invoices to process. Okay.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And it just gets too complicated. This app has made things so easy for us to process here in the office, made it easier for the drivers because there's no handwriting, right? And they even got spell check. And if you use it enough times, the word comes up enough times, you could just click on it, right?
Excuse me. We actually have a question. Anatoly, can you read the question?
Absolutely. Thank you, Darlene. There is a question from Steve. If you get paperwork from a customer, is there a way to send it as an attachment with your job form? It's very...
I do get like just an example. We haul for the cat dealer, the local cat dealer, right? He gives us a sheet for each job, and then I print out they call it a trucking request. So and there's the information from the dealer. They pick up this machine in Elko, take to Yerington, drop off this machine in Yerington, and stuff like that. So a lot of times what I do, I just email that document to the driver. Okay, so I don't necessarily attach it to anything. I just send them your next job, Cashman Equipment, and here's the paperwork from Cashman Equipment. Okay, so I'll email it to the driver. He opens it up, and now I got it set up that he could just look at it, and then he gets to his loading location. He opens up we got another program on each driver has his own tablet. He opens it up and says, "Oh, I'm the right place. This is unit number I'm picking up," and load him up, and away he goes. And he gets to the other end, and now when he drops it off, the receiving person at the other end, he has to sign that document because they want that proof of delivery on their own document. Okay. So he signs that document, and then he signs our document at the bottom where it says proof of delivery. So you got to get them both signed, right? And what he does when he, we got that ability on the tablets, the customer could sign the tablet, okay? On his own document, he could sign the tablet, and he just hits save, and then it just emails it back to me. And what he does for me is he'll put his bill rating number on the document that matches that job. So I got the customer document and my document, and I just put it all together by the number, and then he sends that signed document from the customer. He emails it back to me once the customer has signed it, and I just put it together, and he puts and it all just comes together.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your answer.
Oh.
Also,
But I do not attach it to anything at that particular time, but they do have it electronically as well, right? And the process is the same, right? To get to the job site, unload it, click that document open from the customer, they sign that, and he hits the save button, and then he just emails back to me. So I got my proof of delivery on my ticket and also on the customer ticket.
thank you.
Got it.
And also, I really want to highlight that Snappii platform allows you to select any file from your internal device memory or from any cloud storage like Dropbox or Google Drive or any other cloud storage, iCloud, for example. And you can pick that file, and this file will also be attached to the form that you're sending. It will appear as a direct link. So when you click on the link, you will be able to download that file. Also, Snappii platform allows you to take photos and attach them to the form that you're sending as well.
That was going to be actually my next question, Edwin. Do your guys take photos of the load, before they leave, and maybe at the time of delivery, to make sure that it's all in one piece? I mean, how do you guys handle that?
They do take photographs, but we actually don't attach it to the Snappii app. But what we do, if the driver picks up a load, he'll take a picture of it, and say goes down the road and gets to the other end, and everything checks out good. Then he doesn't take another picture. And the event's a perfect example. We were hauling a backhoe the other day, and the windshield broke in the backhoe, right? So he loaded up, dropped off, windows broken, took a picture of that, and he just emails me the picture with a quick thing, says, Eddie, broke the windshield on this backhoe and stuff like that. So he just sends me a picture of it. Nothing at that point, it's nothing to do with the Snappii, but I'm sure that would be a handy device that if he could snap the picture and attach it somewhere onto the Snappii. I did not get to that point, okay?
Okay.
But we do something similar like that, right? If there's damage or whatever, he takes the picture and sends it to me via email, explains what happened. And a lot of times he will add notes in the description part, right? Because you could type anything. He'll just hit that little pencil, and he put broke the window or whatever the case may be, and then he will have that identified in the bill rating. So if he, you know what I mean? Or if he missed that step, I could input that information myself when I go edit it, right? I could put broke window, rock went through window, broken, or whatever the case may be. So it's not necessarily a picture, but I could identify it when I put the description in there.
Gotcha.
The window was broken.
Would it be helpful to keep these pictures together, sort of with the job folder, so that if you needed to go back for evidence, for insurance reasons or whatnot, so you can quickly open it up and okay, here are the pictures that are related to that particular job. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, it sure would. It sure would. Like I say, not. I mean, it depends on this. In my point of view, depends on the severity of the damage. There are some cases where you gotta get as many pictures as you can, and because we were talking insurance claims and different things, but in this case, it was just a windshield. If I got to reimburse the customer $200 to replace the windshield, I just go ahead and do that. But you're absolutely right. If you had a catastrophic event, say the machine fell off the trailer and caused thousands and thousands of dollars of damage, well, then absolutely you want as many pictures that are associated with that move as you could get for why it happened, when it happened, and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things, Edwin, there's ability not only to take pictures, but to also annotate, with arrows and text and so on. So, you could actually capture a lot of information to be able to show kind of exactly what happened and that sort of thing. Yeah. Edwin, another question for you. So when you rolled this out to your guys, how were they resisting it first? I mean, how did they take to this app? What was the process like?
Of course, there was resistance, but here, perfect example, because you have to pack up all that paper and fill out that paper and everything else. Which they always, what the hell, Eddie? We're supposed to have a secretary with us to fill this out. When they had the paper, I said, well, you guys got plenty of time. You just got to fill it nice and neat so we could understand it and everything else, okay? So I rolled this app out, okay? First couple of weeks, people were, they were kind of gun-shy about it. Well, this is god dang electronic crap and everything else. You know how it goes, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we went along, and 2 months or whatever, they're liking it. Eddie, this is great. We don't have to worry about numbers or nothing. We just fill the information out you want, where we're going to and from, and typing is limited. You don't have to do much typing. In reality, we just love this app now. You know what I mean? And then, so
great.
the reviews coming back after they were using it, stuff like that, I said, damn it, that's pretty darn good. So we carry on and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, if they get into an area that we don't have service, it's not very often, but occasionally it does happen because we go into a lot of areas that are mine related and there's just no service of any kind, right? Or if the Snappii app went down for me once, or maybe once in the last, I don't know, 5 years I've been using this or something like that, and they all panic call me up, Eddie, Snappii app is down, what do I do? We can't function, we don't know where to we don't know how to do anything because the Snappii was gone. And they panic, right? And I said, well, you got to keep notes, right? And catch up later for whatever the case may be. But anyways, it was reluctancy at first, but then now the drivers would not be without this app.
Wow. Wow, that's great to hear. Did you have to do much training, Edwin, as far as, before they start using it, or did they just kind of figure it out on their own?
Well, no, I spent some time with them. I say, this is how this works, and you got to let it trial and error kind of thing. He says, you guys just, here's the basic functions. That's all you got to worry about. Snap on when you're starting a job, hit the new form and fill it out. I mean, it's self-explanatory the way I got it designed, don't you think? I mean, if you can't remember your name, and if you don't know what truck you're in or what trailer you're pulling or who you're hauling for, it's fairly simple. There's not much explanation to be done here. So I said, well, go off in the wilderness and do what you do, right?
Gotcha.
And there was a little bit mistakes and different things and stuff like that, but it was nothing that we couldn't overcome easily. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. No, that's great to hear. Edwin, what about, I mean, there are other electronic bill of lading solutions out there. You know, what particularly about working with Snappii that made a difference? Was the fact that we could customize it to your bill of lading? Was that a factor for you?
Absolutely. So if you see my electronic one here, which you guys developed for me, that's similar to like it would look in one of my bill lading books, okay, with 4 copies and everything else. It's just looking at it, that's how my bill lading book, my paper book, used to look. Pretty similar, okay. So, and you guys customized it the way I needed and wanted it, and it's wonderful. Yeah, it's just for what I do. It's for my application. What I wanted, what you guys designed for me is top notch. There's no question about it.
That's super great to hear. And probably the fact that it looks so similar to your existing paper process probably made it easier for everybody to adopt it, right? For your office people. I mean, they already seen it before, and okay, now it's electronic form, but it's the familiarity factor. That's great to hear that. Tell us a little bit about the truck and trailer inspection. You know, how often is that done? Is that regulated by DOT? I would imagine.
Yeah, it is, but I took mine to a different level, right? And the driver has access to that as well because it's all on the bottom of the app, right? So he could use that actually for a pre-shift if he wanted to, right? And once he submitted it, boom, it's recorded, it's documented, and everything else, right? But what I use that app for more than anything is I go through all my equipment once a week to every truck and trailer, and I got 2-3 yard guys here, and I give them an outline in the morning. Oh, but it's come to the point my guys know what to do. They look out in the yard. Oh, we got trailer 65. I haven't looked at that one for a minute, right? So they'll get the trailer, go to the app, and they'll click on the inspection form, right? They click on the inspection form, and they just go through the process, right? What's noted there, they've got to check okay, or if it passed inspection or didn't pass inspection, and you just check, and everything else. And that's another thing. I got record of all those inspections in my system that it's been done and that kind of thing. But it's very, and then if my guy has to do some repairs on it, right? Because here's our procedure, right? He's looking at a trailer per se, right? He says, "Oh, trailer's got an air leak." Okay, so either at that point it would pass or fail. So if it's got an air leak, it's going to fail, of course, right?
Yep.
So my procedure is, well, if you got a thing that didn't pass, fix it, and then once you're done the repairs, then that item should be in the pass mark, right? And that's our process here. So we have, and then if you done change tires, you got to replace 2 tires, and on the notes at the bottom there, the parts that were put onto the unit, what they repaired, and if they used any parts or pieces or whatever the case may be. So all that is recorded, which is it's not a big deal if you're just another guy, but if you ever got into a DOT audit, do you want to have documents like that you know, you keep your maintenances up and everything else, and if you have a catastrophic event, a really bad accident, or somebody was hurt, well, first thing they do, it's equipment. They don't maintain their equipment. They don't know how to operate. They don't change brakes. They don't do this. They don't do that. That's the first thing they fall on, to blame it on the equipment. And then could ask you for inspection forms and repairs done. So I just open up the file, say truck trailer number 65. There it is, all my inspections, all my repairs that I've done on it in the past, or however long they want. Usually they want to go back 6-7 months or whatever the case may be. Just print them all out and says, here's our work done on this unit in the past 6 months, because that's what you requested. We had that happen here just last year, but anyways, that's another story. So they asked for all the inspections on the truck and trailer that was involved, printed them all up and stuff like that, and you can see that we do spend a good deal of time and money on maintenance to keep things in shape and up to DOT standards.
Got it.
Very important in his business that it's if it's everything's going along fine, maybe you want to slack off on your parts replacement or changing your tires or doing your brakes and stuff like that. But the off chance you have a bad day and have an accident and hit a car or whatever, then it becomes a different story. Right. Then the DOT gets involved and stuff like that, and the lawsuits begin immediately, no matter if you're at fault or whatever the case may be. Lawsuits are pending immediately, and you got to have proof of evidence that you do what you're supposed to do in order to keep your equipment in good shape.
Got it. No, that makes total sense. You know, with invoicing, right? We talk about invoicing and how it happens faster. Like, what's an average size of an invoice, you know, in your industry?
What do you mean size?
Like in terms of dollars, in terms of dollar amounts.
Oh, I do jobs. A single job could be, I don't know, $40,000-$50,000. Depends what we haul.
Right. So that's the time velocity of money. When you know, if your invoices of that size, I mean, if you can accelerate that cycle, it really impacts your business very positively in terms of cash flow, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. Not just by a little bit, by a tremendous amount, and also now the way we run our office now, I don't have to have any paper on my desk. I do, but I don't have to have it, okay? Everything is done electronically for the most part, you know what I mean? Back and forth between myself and Carly, and it's just a smooth flow. And like say, if we do a job for a customer right now, what I do is say this is a multiple truck job, and the total invoice is like $140,000, okay, for the entire job. So let's say I get a PO from the customer, and then I group all those bill of ladings into one invoice, okay? Mm-hmm. And say the customer is Joe Blow, and there was multiple loads, so I just get every bill of lading that's signed by the customer and attach it, and then Carly gets it immediately. Say like if we started a job on Monday and we finished on Wednesday, the total amount is $140,000 for all the trucks, and we're billing by Thursday, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's huge. I mean, when you got to wait extra days for $140,000, becomes a cash flow issue.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, it makes total sense. Edwin, I know we're working on adding the dispatch component to the SAP. You know, how do you see that working out? What are the key benefits of having that dispatch module for you?
Well, the key benefits is I do all the dispatching here as well, right?
Yep.
Here's the benefits. I know what the jobs are coming up. I got my day planner here with the customers and the things we got to do with the customers. So, in fact, let's put this in real time. So yesterday, I got a call from a customer, and he needs 3 trucks in Salt Lake City, Utah, going to Beatty, Nevada. So, and that was late in the afternoon, right? So we got some glitches in our app yet, but you guys are going to address that. But anyway, so I opened up the app and I filled everything out, and everything I got set up is with drop-down boxes and different things. Assigned a driver, what the driver is going to haul, the trailer he's supposed to pull, and what he's going to load, and everything else, right? And the point of origin to the point of destination, the time frame, what time he's got to be there to load. I just fill all those boxes in, right? Boom, and mail it, and it goes to the drivers involved. And what they got to do is, under Snappii app, just open up the dispatch, and boom, it'll come to them, right?
Right.
And it's going to be right in the app itself. So you do get an email as well, but if they're wherever they may be, they don't look at the email or whatever. I send them a heads up and text, hey guys, look at your dispatch app. There's a job for you guys. And
Right.
I would send a text out like that. So they open up the app, hit dispatch. Oh, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. And away to go.
All the details are there. And so
Yes.
all the information they need, and it gets the job off to a good start, basically.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, it's going to be helpful once we get it nailed down here. And I had some drivers. Oh yeah, this would be cool. Then anytime they forget what they're supposed to do, let's hope not that doesn't happen. But they could always go back to that saved form on their dispatch. Oh yeah, I'm in the right track, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. I wonder if there are any other questions from the audience. Anatoly, if you could check, please.
Yes, I'm checking right now. There were a few internal questions, but I believe we've got them covered all. Yep. No other.
Okay. Well, this was certainly very, very comprehensive interview, Edwin. Really appreciate you, first of all, being our good customer and taking the time to do this. We're delighted to work with you, and I'm, as the head of the company, very much appreciate your business, sir. So I really look forward to continuing our work together, and we'll absolutely do the best we can to help you expand this and make your operation smoother. It sounds like you really have tuned it down to an art. I mean, it's my guess, Edwin, in your business, it's a very competitive business. There are a lot of guys doing heavy hauling, and I think every little knob you can turn to make your business more profitable is important for you. So we'll be there.
That's right. Can I mention one more thing?
Absolutely, please do.
So when we were running with all the paper stuff, there's like 5 people in this office, because we got a fairly extensive workload. There was like 5 people in this office to do, with the logbooks and the billing and keeping track of the drivers, and it was a mess, right? And now with you guys' app, there's 2 people in this office. That's all there is, and we do several $1 million a year. Okay, just with 2 people. We got no lawyers, we got no accountants. We got 2 people in this office, and doing several $1 million a year just with 2 people running the office, which is outstanding in my book. So from 5, we went down to 2. Okay.
Wow.
So it's huge. The saving is huge all the way around. Getting the money paid, accounts receivables, and everything else. It just streamlined the process immensely, and the time frame is cut. Instead of weeks, it's cut down to days. From I get invoice to billing and everything else, customer gets the bill. They pay on time, and the money flow is changed tremendously in the last few years from the older version of the way this company was run. Okay, I want to just want to state that.
Oh, that's absolutely. That is super important, and that's why we're doing this webinar, because we really want to kind of get the message out. The rest of the industry, you sound like you're way ahead. I mean, I'm hearing that it's still so much is done with paperwork and these books that they haul in the trucks and the delays. So I think you guys have done a spectacular job of really accelerating your business and improving your profitability. Wow, that's very impressive, Edwin.
Yeah, it's huge, and like I say, wouldn't be without it now.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time, sir. And
okay, very well.
Thank you,
feel free to
Edwin.
reach out
All right.
anytime.
Thank you,
Appreciate it, sir.
Edwin.
Thank you guys for having me on talking on with everybody else.